The next thing we're going to talk about is, well, we're going to move on from women and children first, on to fair warning. I just wanted to lay that on you and know that way before 1984 Eddie was playing keyboards. Anyways, let's go to, I'm going to play you a little excerpt of some ridiculous hammering here. He started hitting harmonics on different frets, like you can hit harmonics, say, at the 12th fret. Well, he started tapping them, because he's a maniac. He starts tapping them, and it starts to sound like this. Check this piece out. One of the other things that Eddie does, infrequently, he doesn't do it a lot, is he'll detune. In other words, he takes his E string and tunes it down a step down to D. Comes out sounding like that. Big, huge, big sound. Then he'll step on his flanger. He periodically steps on his toys to give it this sweeping sound in just a piece of the song. It sounds something like this. Check this out. Here's number 26. This is a finger pluck thing. I want to show you a piece now where Eddie's taking a delay pedal, a volume knob, either a very heavy chorus or a little bit of a flange, because a flange is a very extreme effect and a chorus is usually a pretty subtle one. So I've got a very subtle flange going, and he might be using a real heavy chorus, but they're plugged straight into the amp. These aren't coming out of the board. So this is going to be hammered volume swells with some delay on it. The delay's about like that, okay? So here we go. Once again. Let's move the album 1984. On Diver Down in 1984, Diver Down wasn't a very successful record. They had a lot of copy tunes on it. 1984, on the other hand, they talked about for a whole year that Eddie was going to be playing keyboards on this record, so they hyped the heck out of this album. And unbeknownst to everybody, he'd been playing keyboards for like 3 or 4 years before that, but he always disguised it with a Marshall. Dancing in the Streets has a keyboard part on the left-hand side if you ever want to check it out. It's not a guitar. The one that's making all the weird noises is a keyboard through a Marshall. At least that's what it sounds like. It's not a guitar. Anyways, so this album, the Diver Down album, 1984, the guitar sounds got thinner in that he took some of the low end away and took keeps backing the distortion off through some of these albums, and then, but finally by Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, the distortion gets cranked way back up, but they're not Marshalls anymore. So anyways, a lot of chorusing on these sounds now. I want to show you this riff where he sort of fades. He does this pull-off thing, mute thing, and then he fades into these harmonics. This is example 28. Let's check it out. One more time. Number 30. Once again. Here's number 31. Slower. I'm going to show you an example right now of this speed picking thing he does. I can't hold my hand the way he does when he does it. He turns his hand around like this and sort of picks up underneath it. And it's a really strange thing that I never bother. I mean, he does it. Why bother? You know what I'm saying? Because my picking hand's a different thing. But he picks real fast. Nevertheless, make it comfortable for yourself. And he picks real fast all the time. He does this on every record. He picks real fast and runs these lines up the neck. Check this one out. 32. One more time. Here's number 33. Here's number 34. Again. $35. Again. As we moved to 5150, he picked up a new toy, which was a Steinberger guitar. It has this thing called a trans trim on it, and it's cammed in such a way so as when you bend the bar down, you can bend it down and lock it in, and it will play in certain keys because the strings drop at a certain rate. And they were able to scientifically work it out to where you could lock it in place and play in other keys. So he really used this thing a lot. I don't have one right now, but what I can do for you is I can show you some of the things he was doing with the bar. He got very bar happy for a while here. His styles evolved into this sort of a loose type of a thing where he's using his bar all the time, playing as strangely as he can, it sounds like to me. Let's check a riff out here, okay? Let's look at this riff. Number 36. Again. For 37. Again. Again. Here's number 39. Once again. On this album, OU812, we're going to shift albums here. He progressed into the Steinberger thing, and it got very wet and muddy and strange sounding and had this big stereo separation from something like the Eventide harmonizer we're using. And then on OU812, he sort of went back to like a Fair Warning sound, which was a very martially sound, and the Stratocaster and the whole bit with the humbucking pickup. And on the very next record, we're going to get to Unlawful. He completely changes everything, his guitar, his amps, the whole bit. It's a thoroughly different sound. Anyways, let's take an excerpt here. This is number 40. One more time. 42. One more time. $43. One more time. On Van Halen's latest album, as of the making of this tape, For Unlawful, he's got a completely different sound. I've heard a bunch of stories, people talk about him. I was down at a convention down in LA for the music industry, and they were Soldano was talking about how he stole their circuit for the 5150 and blah, 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 and on and on. What it sounds to me like is like a Soldano-style amp, okay? With the gain just jacked. He's got a ton of gain going. He switched guitars, he's making the music, he's doing the Music Man guitar thing now. Total different sound. It's very low-end heavy. And it's extremely buzzy and distorted. And he's taken a lot of the mids out. It's non-distinct. It's hard to put your finger on. I mean, it still sounds like Eddie because it's Eddie playing the guitar. But it's a much, much different sound. I'm using a distortion pedal to get this thing to run like this. Let me give you example number 44. One more time. Eddie's got a new trick on this album, or a new effect, and one that he's never used in all the albums that they've made, a wah-wah pedal. I mean, he's never at least recorded one that I know of. We got a wah-wah pedal here, and let me give you, this is example number 45, all right? Here's 46. Again. The way Eddie approaches his chording, let's talk about the way he approaches his chording and his songwriting. He's usually writing in a major mode, which makes everything seem kind of happy, especially after the first two records. Everything got very happy. They're just happy guys. How could you not be? His chords usually center around major, this inversion of, the first inversion of major chords, and these little bar chords, and then he like puts his, and then he uses these. He's written a lot of hit songs with that kind of stuff, you know? All the time. Eddie's just using those all the time. And he's always inventive with his chords. But most of the time, he's in a major mode, as opposed to minor, which most rock music is in. His soloing is comprised of blues riffs. Entirely of blues riffs, except for the hammer-ons, which he was the first to put on record with some logic to it, therefore giving him the title of the guy who invented it. I'm not sure he invented it, but he certainly did come out with it in a big way. So, other than that, he's usually using a minor blues mode, which is in E minor. Then he just loses his mind with his bar. And I mean, of all the inventiveness he's come up with, he's very stuck to what it is that he does. So you got major chords most of the time. You have blues, minor scale, almost invariably, which seems strange going against a major mode. But the thing is a blues minor scale is the third flexible. It's you have that flexibility between the thirds. Let's go to example number, what number are we on? 47? Let's go to 47 and check this out. Here's number 47. These are examples of 3 chords that he uses most often. Now you can move these chords, you can do a lot of things with these chords. You can play them straight out. You can move them around. You can pluck them. You can, what else does he do with them? My gosh, he moves them all over the neck. I mean, he's always moving them all over the place, but basically those types of chords. He arpeggiates them too. He's tapping them. We looked at an example of tapping earlier. But basically, those are the kinds of chords he uses. Let's go to example 48 now, and I'll show you a little bit more in depth what he's doing with the usual position that he uses, the blues minor scale. Okay? I'm going to give you the blues minor scale. I'm going to play it all the way up the neck. Then I'm going to give you a riff in it, and I'm going to shift it around to 3 different positions on the neck so you can see how to move your hand with the same fingering. Here we go. This is in E minor. Now here's a riff. This is the same scale played in B. In other words, you shifted your hand position down approximately, let me see how far, 5 frets, 6 frets. 6 frets in B minor. Here we go. Here's a riff for you. Example 50 is going to illustrate the same scale, same fingering, same picking, same kind of riff in A, which is 2 frets down from the last one that we did. Okay? Let me show you the scale first. Here we go. Here's a riff. Well, that about wraps it up for this tape. Let me go over a couple of the things that we've. Let me review some of the things we've touched upon here. When he's writing songs, he's usually in a major mode. When he's playing solos, he's usually playing in a minor, a blues minor. He likes to pinch harmonics a lot when he's playing solos. Always using open stringed, pull off to open strings. Always doing that. Always doing that. Right-handed technique all the time. Bar dives. One thing we never covered. His pick slides were the best on the first record, best pick slides I've ever heard. You can't just go ripping at them because they sound like this. You have to do a pick slide correctly, and it comes out like this. Usually has that slide tagged onto it. When you want to play the bar thing, when you want to do that bar dive, the best way to do it is to whip your hand up the neck, pull the string off, and then dive it. So it comes out like this. Okay? A lot of right-handed technique with Eddie, and the harmonic thing. You can tap those harmonics out wherever you want, and you find them all over the place. What else does the guy do? Oh, he's the best at his effects. I never heard anybody use a pedal board like Eddie. He's just the best. I believe he had them modified when he first had them. He had them so that they had a little bit of boost in them when he kicked them in. So the phase shifter would boost up his sound and stuff, and he wouldn't lose any signal through them. Let me give you one more example here. This is the last example we're going to get. Example 51. I'm going to show you his latest piece of paraphernalia is for his guitar, okay? Here we go. We're going to use a drill for this. We have a cordless drill. This is kind of a cool thing. Check this out. Don't do that with a power drill, man. I put a power drill up there and it's plugged in, it makes some noise. I was scared I was going to get shocked and killed. The wireless ones are kind of cool. And I don't know, I guess we can all go out and buy Makita drills to use as a piece of paraphernalia for our guitar and wear them on our belts and look cool. But it's kind of a neat thing. He's always inventing. He's like bored all the time. As soon as something's out, he's looking for something new. The perpetual inventor. I've enjoyed making this tape, and I've enjoyed the time we spent doing it, and I hope you got something out of it. Let me just try to play like Eddie for a bit and see what I'm talking about. Okay? See you later.